Really, I have no objective of this stream other than to complain. Um, I just want to discuss what life looks like from this angle. Uh, I'm really upset with the job market for programming jobs and the job market in general. It seems like most of what people do that produces money uh, doesn't actually produce all that much in terms of a product. So, for example, all these devs at these companies, these social media companies, um, their income is predicated on the IPO and advertiser revenue, which doesn't actually like Twitter has never generated a profit. Wasn't that like a big story for a long time? I don't know what the deal is um, with Elon Musk, but most of these, what's another one? Airbnb. I don't think that one's ever turned a profit. There are companies which have been in business for a decade in the digital front, right, programming things that have never turned a profit and probably never will. But at the same time, they've made countless millionaires off of stock options and just base salary compensation. Um, but from my perspective, the internet has pretty much been created. It speaks for itself, and it doesn't need your assistance. Trying to get an edge in. Um, my programming skills are such that I think I could adapt to any target language and any. It's more about the project and the group. Um, but finding a project or a group or a company that you would identify with is basically impossible. You may as well give up. And then you have to be on the level of the people in the project, which is difficult. It takes time to ramp up. It takes like a proper situation, whatever that looks like, uh, at least for me and probably most people. Um, and ultimately, these companies just don't need you. They have people who are far more autistic, far less demanding in terms of their like economic needs and social status needs and all this other stuff. Um, so it's just it's a bad situation. You're an expensive employee. Uh, you you can't change that. You cost what you cost. Living in America, you're an expensive employee. Somebody that can just offshore everything. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm at. And then I see most of the economy as filler. Get a job at Denny's or Waffle House. Uh, they have these people that sit at Circle K now, the gas station, and they have self checkouts. So they literally just stand there. They stand there all day and all night, 24 hours a day, and their only duty is to like restock the shelves and clean the bathroom. Um, and that's kind of how I feel about everything, to include high skill labor. Um, the Federal Reserve and the billionaire class kind of get to set the pacing and the rules, and I think that there is a mentality that by throwing money out the window to these YouTube folks, you're basically like fixing things. You're taking care of, I don't know, if you can go to the internet and post some videos and make a decent living doing it, right? It'll make you less likely to rebel. Your content will probably be pro government, pro corporation, and you know, but yeah, then again, people bite the hand that feeds them, or the second that it stops giving them what they want or anticipate. With all this view botting, being attacked in the last day or two here, and with embedding and streaming, I mean everything is just completely fake. You know, um, Mr. Beast and PewDiePie don't have even a fraction of their alleged subscribers or view count. You know, um, if everybody knows that, is it a problem? I guess not. But why are you lying? Why are you constantly lying? Can't you just tell the fucking truth? Is it really that difficult? Uh, there's no point in even trying to like stand up and articulate your needs amongst the crowd. It's like you're in a uh, soccer stadium during a match, and you stand up and start trying to explain to the entire stadium that you're looking for, you know, amenities. You're looking for some sort of source of income, whatever that may be. Fucking joke, yeah. Um, isn't it strange how all these people end up being at the scene of 9/11? You know, all these famous people. Uh, I don't think Neil deGrasse Tyson was incorporated on some 9/11 plot, but like, I can definitely see where one would get the idea and then run with it, and it's not totally crazy. Pattern seeking, like, well, Pete Davidson, Seth MacFarlane, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Here would be the theory. They were part of this sort of group that just kind of got recruited, sort of like Jeffrey Epstein. Like, hey, you look like a morally compromised individual. Did you know that we're gonna like destroy these two towers and kill a bunch of people and then lie about it? No, like we're gonna do that. And all you have to do is just say that like and you don't care, and then go around acting like, oh, you were there, you just happened to be, stuff like that. Oh, you were gonna be on the plane. Oh, Larry Silverstein. He would have been in the tower, but his wife made an appointment. I don't know, man. It was a job. Somebody did it with intention. Um, and I don't think that there was a lack of organization behind whatever accomplished that, right? So take that what you will. It's more of a state to say that you can't dismiss it as the actions of an individual or two or three people, right? So if it's from an organization, it doesn't really matter which organization in a certain sense, from a certain perspective, right? Um, and where was one know where things connect at the highest end of secret hierarchies of authority, right? So, you keep on going to board meetings and finding out that there's another board meeting which you don't have access to. You get access to that board meeting, and then there's another one which you just don't have access to, you know, like a Russian nesting doll. You can never actually see the final room where it's just like, uh, all the presidents sitting around being like, oh, yeah, yeah, no, we have like a million people we need to kill. Um, we'll start a land war. What we'll do is we'll fake a war in the Ukraine, and then you can take all the attractive women, then we'll kill all the men. Um, yeah, from this perspective, I don't see any real situation arising. And furthermore, we don't need any more software. You know, we just don't need it. Um, it's kind of been made. There, like, as I see it, the modern internet exists, and like, if we didn't have any improvements to it, if no new websites released for the next like 100 years, nobody would even really notice for the most part. Like, all the essential services have been created. Uh, Audio, video, image, transmission is basically all you need. And then you got text communication, obviously. Internet started as text. Uh, so what else is there to be done, from a certain perspective? There's a million different ways to do the same fucking thing over and over and over again, right? and we're trying to complicate it and make it something more than it is. Like, there are a lot of unique services, don't get me wrong. I really love software as an art form and stuff like that. But, uh, you know, uh, I mean, we don't need Shazam again, you know. We don't need uh, another iTunes or Spotify, you know. It's like there's nothing really. We can make another YouTube. We do need that because their platform is full of spam and bullshit, and they censor people. And whatever you hit do not recommend, they just throw it in the fucking trash bin. Um, we do need another, video platform, but we don't need very much of anything. We don't need another crypto. We don't need, like, seriously, name a single service. I mean, you need some maintenance on things. You need to, like, maintain live services. You might have a reason to set some stuff up, but, like, really the only thing which I can imagine you making would be like a video game, right? Like, what outside of that, you know, uh, outside of something, I mean, what are you building from a practical perspective? There's nothing to be built. All these, I'm not the only one to notice this, but all these social platforms, they don't produce anything, and they only exist to enrich the creators. Something like, let's, uh, Parlor or Gab or, um, I don't know, like all these failed alternative. There's one that I was trying to think of. Um, Clubhouse would be another. It's an attempt at clout chasing. Clubhouse was. Oh, we'll give out exclusive access to micro celebrities so that people want to join the platform, and then we'll try to hook a few like major celebrities, and they'll just like sit around and talk in a powwow circle about fuck all. And then the big drive is like, oh my God, did you hear that Elon Musk is in Clubhouse? Yeah, well, you can't join anyways because you don't have a link. You know what I mean? Uh, and then you'd have people like streaming live their Clubhouse, but no, it doesn't do anything. Like, it's a useless platform. It's a way of enriching its creators. It's not actually solving any problems. It's not contributing to commerce. If anything, it's probably actively impeding it by like creating these waste of time conversations for people to like sit around and listen to at work instead of doing their fucking work. Not that most people accomplish things at work. It's a whole lot of people sitting around at like Walgreens and CVS on their phone, like checking their crypto and, listening to Clubhouse talks, hoping to get the fuck out of slavery. Um, it's just ridiculous. Where do you begin whenever there's no place? It's like the roll of tape is just completely fucked up. Should one set aside their life, and ignore their like individual needs for like proper mental and physical health in order to pursue studying some arcane abstract concept like leak code algorithms, right? So like, leak code is all well and good if you're like settled, if you have everything you need financially and physically, like you get into a point where you can study. But whenever you're in need of income, your skills are just your skills. You got to take them to market. That's how it works. You don't get extra time. You don't have the luxury of working on yourself. Um, it's pretty fucked up. There's no there's no resolution to the problem of populist needs. You know, there's going to be this endless asking for resources. Every child's mouth, is open and hungry and, crying out for the same fucking thing. It doesn't change. I realized a long time ago, we have enough resources to provide for everybody, but we don't have enough resources to provide for everybody's greed. You know, we're not going to be able to take every kid out of a Brazilian favela and put them into a Lamborghini. It's just impossible. Um, you know, but that's what they're all gonna want. They're all gonna want the same fucking thing. So, what do you say? I don't know. I don't really have much to say. You know, programming languages, you learn one, you know them all in a certain sense. It's more about finding the problem to solve and then going to meet that problem where it is. From my perspective, um, engineering an application and being in a high order discussion about like what the objectives of an application are and how the user experience is, all that sort of stuff is interesting. I'd love to be involved in these kind of things, but the way it is credentialism. It's time, it's who it's a lot of different factors. It's physical proximity. Being in the Bay Area helps out with that stuff. But see it all in general as a diffusion method for people's, uh, you know, economic complaints. Just take it digital. Hire people to produce nothing and pay them anyways because net on net you're irrelevant. You know, it's like it doesn't matter if we pay you like 100. Pay you 6 figures a year plus 7 figures a year. Who the cares? It doesn't really matter because it's going to go back into paying for your mortgage. You're just going to buy a house. You're just going to sit around. Certain people, in my view, there's no amount of money that you can give them which is too much because their personality is such that they're going to use it appropriately. Then other people, you can't give them anything because no matter what you do, they're not going to like they're going to go get a Lamborghini and, like if they got $1 million, the first thing they do is buy a $250,000 used Lambo, and then question mark. Uh, Easy come, easy go mentality. Um, but I know what I want to do, and I think that if you were to say just like drop $10 million in my lap, what would end up happening is I'd like be producing stuff. I'd have a net positive economic impact over time because what I want to do is turn around and recontribute like in earnest. Um, yeah, there's no way that you can get strung along on a peasant's salary and rise to the occasion to accomplish, you know, grander objectives. Uh, you just ground into the fucking dirt with your piecemeal uh, paycheck. So that's about all I gotta say right now. Jobs market is ridiculous. Joe Biden is a terrorist and he should be shot in the fucking head. He's a traitor. He should be given a trial and executed by firing squad. Um, uh, yeah, so are we gonna impeach this guy yet, or you guys just gonna continue to failing the American public?